Good morning. I'm Dwight Dively. I'm the Budget Director and the Chief Operating Officer for King County, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this celebration of the completion of the Puget Sound Emergency Radio Network, or PSERN. You're going to hear today about a project that increases the safety of every resident of King County. It increases the effectiveness and the safety of our first responders, and it is a wonderful example of intergovernmental cooperation to accomplish something that is all in our own best interests. So with that introduction, it is my privilege to introduce the County Executive, Dow Constantine.
Thank you, Dwight, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. Before I go on with my prepared remarks, I want to make sure that we recognize some of the folks who are here standing with us. First of all, from Bellevue, and thank you for hosting us, Mayor Lynn Robinson. From Kirkland, Mayor Kelly Curtis. Mayor Salim Neese of Mercer Island, Mayor Angela Burney of Redmond, Mayor Thomas McLeod of Tukwila, and former Joint Board Chair and former many other things, Fred Jarrett is with us today, as well as Mike Webb, the Executive Director of the new PSERN Operator. That is the official name of the organization that will be operating the system. Now, since we're gathered here at Station 1, it's certainly a possibility that they will get a call. And in that case, we'll just be quiet for a while and let things proceed. But if it happens, and I think you'll agree with me, we want to know that we have given them what they need in order to be able to answer that call quickly and effectively. When seconds count, when first responders need to communicate, failure is not an option. That's the idea behind the new system for communication that we're celebrating today, the Puget Sound Emergency Radio Network, or PSERN. Funded by voters in 2015, PSERN is a complete rebuild of our critical infrastructure for law enforcement, for first responders, for emergency personnel across King County to be able to communicate clearly and reliably. And today we celebrate its completion, and we celebrate the people who made it happen. Through a partnership with King County and 11 cities, including those whose mayors are here with us today, we've updated and expanded the radio network to improve coverage and make it easier to use and to remain secure during emergencies. This project has upgraded equipment for our 140 customer agencies, including emergency dispatchers and hospitals and utility districts. We've upgraded equipment at 61 radio sites and invested in antenna systems across 800 buildings all around the county. Now over 19,000 new radios are in the hands of responders, emergency managers, local governments. All of those innovations make up a network that will be there when we need it and be a backbone for whatever type of response is called for. And now with the upgrades complete, this system is ready to serve. But getting to this point has not been easy. It's a project that started just about 15 years ago when I was first sworn in as executive. Back in 2009, it was clear the technology infrastructure for our emergency responders needed to be replaced. And there's one person from our administration back then that I want to recognize. That individual forged the partnerships to ensure that we had one common solution rather than disparate and disconnected alternatives. So I want to recognize and thank former Mercer Island Mayor, former state representative, former state senator, former deputy executive of King County, Fred Jarrett, for all your public service throughout your career and for making this moment possible. Thank you, Fred. PSERN is the kind of system that you simply must have in place and know it's going to work when you need it. The thing about emergencies is, unfortunately, as a general rule, you don't get to schedule them. Whether it's a winter storm or a natural disaster or something else altogether. Having a communications backbone as strong as PSERN will be an asset for the residents of King County today, tomorrow, and for many years down the road. Simply put, this will save lives And now I'd like to welcome Seattle Fire Chief and Board Chair of the newly established PSERN operator, Chief Harold Scoggins. Thank you.
Well, good morning. I'm Harold Scoggins, Fire Chief of the Seattle Fire Department. I'd like to say thank you to Executive Constantine for his leadership on this countywide project. You know, his leadership truly made the difference. Without he and his team's support, the Puget Sound Emergency Radio Network project, it would not have been possible. I also want to extend gratitude to the voters of King County for prioritizing public safety. Your votes helped pass the levy that built this system. We went from about 27 towers to 61 towers. That's pretty significant. To the members of the King County Fire Chiefs Association, thank you for supporting this project from the get-go. And finally, to all who work behind the scenes at the county level and in individual public safety departments to bring the PSERN project to fruition, thank you. For the past year, I have served as the chair of the PSERN Operations Board, and I also have served as a board member on the joint board for the past 7 years for this project. I have worked closely with key partners during the planning and implementation phases of the project from this perspective. I want to speak about the impact the network has on the Puget Sound region and how it will help first responders in the field and ultimately the communities we serve. Radio communications have long been the primary method for how we communicate tactically at emergency responses. First responders in King County utilize radios thousands of times per day to relay critical life safety information. We communicate amongst ourselves as firefighters, with our dispatch centers, with partners in law enforcement, with trauma doctors at hospitals. And with the new system, we have enhanced our ability to communicate more efficiently and directly with other entities to include public utility organizations, King County Metro, Sound Transit, Department of Transportation, and many, many more. Whether it's a Metro bus we need to request to keep people warm that are displaced because of a fire, or a utility department to shut off power to a building during an escalating incident, or contacting Sound Transit to close the tracks for a vehicle collision in the path of light rail. We are making this process smoother and quicker with this new system. We also have a need for communicating with agencies outside of King County. With the PSERN system, we have improved our ability of listening and relaying information over the radio to first responder agencies in Pierce County, Snohomish County, and the Port of Seattle. This creates regional interoperability and puts us ahead of many first responder agencies in the United States. Here's why that's important. When we think about the types of emergencies and disasters our region could face, we know each of our agencies will be all hands on deck. Whether it's a major earthquake, a large flood, or a mass casualty incident, there will be a need for us to communicate with one another and to work together. There are also many times where we provide mutual aid to help each other, and being able to tactically communicate on the same radio frequencies becomes key to that incident's success. Having a working radio is critical to our mission of saving lives and protecting property. The prior radio system in our region was more than 20 years old, and it needed to be replaced. With the new PSERN system, we have more redundancies in place should the radio system experience technical difficulties, better coverage, and overlap in our region with more than double the radio sites in the PSERN system, and a system that will carry us well into the future, and that's important. Thank you for your time, and next I would like to introduce Under Sheriff Anderson. Thank you.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I get to come here today to talk about the law enforcement perspective of PSERN and how that is so important for your police officers out in our communities. So, as Chief Scoggins said, I'm Under Sheriff Jesse Anderson with the King County Sheriff's Office. I too want to thank Executive Constantine as well as the members of the PSERN team for inviting me here today to talk briefly about this significant improvement in public safety for law enforcement communication in King County. First, I will say that I was honored to be a member of the Joint Board and to be part of this project to advance public safety technology for all who live, work, and enjoy the many outdoor activities that our region has to offer. If it were not for the support of our public officials, public safety partners, and the staff who worked hard to plan and build our PSERN network, we wouldn't be here today to celebrate and pay recognition to this achievement. The people we serve expect improved and reliable radio communications for police, so they feel confident and assured knowing that police officers can respond to them to help them without delay. Our officers and deputies are now equipped with communication technology that allows them to be clearly and completely informed for an efficient response with the appropriate available resources. This is the second communication system that's been implemented during my time in the Sheriff's Office. I remember those early days, which I'll have to say was over 30 years ago, in my career where there are many areas of rural King County where there was no or very little radio reception. As you can imagine, the deputies were on their own at times. This created a serious safety concern for them, as well as the community members who depended on them in an emergency. This new digital system provides greater and improved radio coverage for police officers and deputies working in King County, especially inside of buildings, the downtown transit tunnel, and on the east side of King County. Officers and dispatchers are now able to hear each other with improved clarity and not be concerned about dead spots that cause frustration and the occasional delayed response. We appreciate the increased communication with our public safety partners in King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties because often we are working together for the interest of our communities. First responders simply expect clear and effective communication to do their jobs. They want to know when they key the mic that they're heard and that they can be heard by others or that they can hear others in the communication. And that's what PSERN delivers. And finally, our communication centers are now upgraded with the latest technology to better serve you. With that, I will introduce Executive Director Vonnie Mayer from Valley Communications Center. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Vonnie Mayer. I'm the Executive Director with Valley Com 911. I apologize for my voice, so bear with me. I'll be brief. Communications is the heart of public safety. It's so important to make sure that we hear each radio transmission every time, whether it's routine or critical. Our dispatchers and 911 professionals are there to make sure that field units go home each night after their shift. And having a tool that is so critical must rise to that occasion. PSERN has done that. I'm a proud member of the operator board, and I'm proud to say that our staff is well-versed in what is important when it comes to these critical systems. They use it to the most efficient manner. The system is resilient, it's redundant, and it provides an interoperability that is so important not only within one communication center, but as well as the region, both the King County and Snohomish. So it's very important that we work together to ensure that not only we meet the needs of the public, but that we meet the needs of our partner agencies. Just as the phone is the lifeline to those accessing 911, the radio system is the lifeline for our police officers, our firefighters, and our medics. And I'm proud to be part of such a great board. Thank you.
Well, thank you to all of our speakers and the other leaders who have helped bring us to this day. Again, I would reiterate the critical role of Deputy Executive Jarrett in picking up this task and really forming it up and making sure that we had a unified region-wide approach. It was something that really only he, with his years of experience locally and at the state level, could take on. And I will reiterate, would not be here today without his dedication and expertise. Thank you so much, Fred.